Hey guys, it's your girl Naturally Nata here. I'm here today to talk to you about how to use a beauty blender and also the best beauty blender dupes. I did a poll on my community tab to see what type of video you wanted me to film next, and this video won. I think this is a really good subject anyway, and it seems maybe a bit basic to some people, but a lot of people really don't know how to use a beauty blender, and maybe they don't want to splurge and spend $20 on one. That's how much beauty blenders cost. If you didn't know, they are $20. Pretty steep for a little baby sponge. I have tried so many beauty blender dupes, beauty sponges. I have quite a few sitting right over here that I want to show you guys, just in case you want to use a type of beauty sponge but you do not want to splurge on the actual beauty blender. You don't have to. Don't worry, you don't have to drop the 20 if you don't have it or you don't want to. There are some sponges at Walmart, Ulta, Target, places like that I kind of use more than a beauty blender that I absolutely love. So if you're interested in me showing you how to use a beauty blender to get a flawless face and some great beauty blender dupes, you know what to do. Just please keep watching. Alright guys, so I'm in a different space right now. I'm in my actual bedroom. I might be in here quite a bit more during the summer months, so I hope you don't mind. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use a beauty blender. This is the beauty blender I'm going to be using today. This is their new Sapphire collection. It's a new like blue one. Same thing, it's just blue and it's called Sapphire. It's really, really cute. So these do retail for $20, which is pretty steep. I think a beauty sponge, I'm not going to say necessarily a beauty blender, but I definitely think a beauty sponge is something that you definitely need for your makeup routine if you're trying to get like a really just flawless face. These things just soak up excess product and just really sink it into your skin so that it's not just sitting on your face, especially if you're doing concealer, foundation, something like that. Brush might make the product just sit on your face, and there'll be a lot of excess unnecessary product on your face that will make you look maybe a bit more cakey. Foundation and concealer just might not blend out as flawlessly as it would if you used a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. I think these are a necessity. I've had many people, like when I do somebody else's makeup and they see it, or I'm actually doing their own makeup and they're like, how did you make it look so flawless? And this is the key. Also, when you use a brush, it might cause streaking, get streaks on your face, and it's just really simple to use a beauty sponge because you can almost use this for your entire face. You can use it for your foundation, you can use it for your concealer, a cream highlighter, a cream blush, even for sinking everything into your skin and making it look more flawless. I'm going to show you everything that I'm talking about right now. Today I'm going to be using the actual beauty blender to do my entire face, but at the end I'm going to go through the dupes. Other more affordable beauty sponges that you can use to get basically the same effect. But since this video is titled how to use a beauty blender, I'm actually going to use the beauty blender to do my face. The first thing that you want to do is to make sure that the beauty blender is wet and clean. You want to wash your beauty blender every time after you use it. I do have a video about how I clean my beauty sponges and how I clean my brushes in general. It's a very simple way to clean your brushes that will get them super duper squeaky clean, no product left over, and it's very inexpensive. So if you're interested in watching that video, just click the eye above. I filmed that video quite a while ago, but I still do the same exact thing and use the same exact product. So if you're interested in that video, just click the eye above. So this is what the beauty blender looks like right here. As you can see, it looks pretty insignificant, but it's amazing. So it's dry right now. You do not want to use a dry sponge on your face. You definitely want to dampen it. It's going to get bigger and it's going to be nice and bouncy and squishy. Right now it's squishy, but it's still a little firm. You want it to be soft, damp, and clean. Those are the 3 steps from the beginning.
Soft, damp, and clean.
So what I'm going to do is go ahead and wet this underneath the sink. All you have to do, turn on the sink, put it under there, squeeze it like this, let that water really soak into the sponge. Dry it off with a towel, like press that excess water out because you do not want it to be soaking wet. So I'm gonna go wet it and I'm gonna get a towel and I'm gonna show you guys what I mean by squeeze the excess water. Here's the sponge now. It has gotten a lot bigger, as you can see. I'm just taking a clean like wash rag and I'm just squeezing this out so there's like no extra water in it. Sometimes when you wet it under the sink and you squeeze it real hard like that, there'll be some water still coming out. You don't want that. First thing that I like to use my beauty blender or beauty sponge for is my foundation. Not all the time, but most of the time. I'm just gonna moisturize, prime my face real quick with some Glam Glow Glow Starter. Oh my God, it smells so good. It's a Mega Illuminizing Moisturizer. This is how I like to do it. Any foundation, even if it has a pump, I'll just go ahead and put some on the back of my hand like this. And I'll dot it on my face before I go in with the beauty blender. This just makes it so much easier to blend your foundation out if you just dot it on your face first. And if you put it directly on the beauty blender, it might waste some of your foundation because it'll soak it up. So what I like to do is take the fat end. As you can see, there's a pointy end and there's a fat end. You always want to use the fat end of your beauty sponge to blend out your foundation. It'll just make it easier, and that's really what it's for. The fat end is for foundation covering a larger area of your face, and all you do is pounce. Pounce, 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 pounce. Just bounce it up and down. All right. So I have my foundation on, and I just keep going until I can see that everything looks nice and flawless. And you want to press into your skin. You don't want to like swipe, because that will take the product away. You want to press it in there, and it's soaking up all the excess product while really pressing that product into your skin so it looks nice and blended and flawless. The next product that I really love using a beauty blender for is concealer. Down just a bit, but I'm going to explain that you should use the pointy end to do your concealer. The pointy end of the beauty blender is really going to get in those hard to reach spots like the corner of your eye, really brighten that, and it just makes it easier once again to blend out because this is more precise. This is for more precise blending. This is for covering, you know, more larger areas of your face. Oh, hold on, I forgot to conceal my smile lines. And now I'm going to go back in with the fat end, as you can see right here, and this will really just press that into the skin around my forehead, so it's not looking like it's not looking crazy and unblended. And now for the under eye, I'm going back to the pointy end, and I'm really going to get in that inner corner. I'm going to look up and really use that point to go right underneath my eye and to sharpen up my eyeshadow. Like I said, don't swipe, but sometimes I do swipe when I'm sharpening up my eyeshadow. Now I'm using the fat end again, and I'm just going to go around my face. Once again, this is going to press everything into my skin so it looks nice and flawless, and there's no like harsh lines or anything between the foundation and the concealer. I'm going to do a bit of cream contouring. Usually I don't always use a beauty blender when I'm blending out my cream contour. I like using a brush a lot of times. For the sake of the video, I'm going to use my beauty blender because you can use it to blend out your cream contour also. I'm just using another LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this one is in the shade Chestnut. Alright, some people like to use multiple sponges. I use the same sponge for my entire face. Some people alternate between dry and wet, like they use a dry one to set the powder underneath their eyes and stuff like that. I like using a damp sponge to set my under eye with powder because I think it helps to melt the product into my skin. So I use the same sponge for my whole face and I get a really flawless look. That's really just up to your personal preference and what you think looks better, but I like just using one sponge for my entire face, and not only does does that work well for me, but it's way more convenient than having multiple sponges. That's just like having multiple brushes. Too much. So take the side of the sponge and use that to blend in this LA Girl Pro Concealer. I really like how this looks. I don't really use a beauty blender a lot to blend out my cream contour, like I said, but I'm really liking the way this looks. It looks really flawless, and it was so easy. I'm just taking whatever's left over, the excess, and taking it around my jaw. I'm just making sure everything's nice and blended together. The only part that I'm not going to use the sponge to blend out is my nose contour. I'm going to take a brush to do that. So I'm going to blend this nose contour out, and I'll be right back with some more ways you can use the beauty blender on your flawless face. So the good thing about the beauty sponge also is if you do too much, you can always go back in with the sponge. I use a bit too much of that LA Girl Pro Conceal on my nose. A little bit goes such a long way with that LA Girl Pro Conceal, and I didn't mean to do that much, but I did, but it's okay. And I like doing this anyway with my nose contour. I like going over it with the sponge after I blend it out with a brush, just to make sure that it doesn't look too harsh, and it will just basically soak everything up. Oh my god, this thing, I haven't used a beauty blender in a long time. As you can see, that was a brand new one that I was showing you guys. I haven't used one in a long time, and I went out and got a new one for this video, and this thing really is good. There are some great dupes, but I have to say, I do think everybody should have at least one beauty blender. I wouldn't buy multiple. I've never bought more than one. My other one was looking a bit dingy. That's why I went out and bought this one. But this thing is worth it. It's blending everything so flawlessly. It's ridiculous. So now that my nose contour is not looking crazy anymore, we're gonna go in and set the under eye, and guess what I'm gonna use? My beauty blender. Duh, we're gonna use it for the whole freaking face. So I'm using this Milani banana powder. It's a translucent banana powder. I love this stuff so much. And I'm gonna take the pointy side, of course, and dip it into the powder. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's not even. So what I do, I just take the excess and blot it on the back of my hand, swish it around a little bit so it just looks like one even layer of powder on my beauty sponge. And then let me make sure there's no creasing underneath my eye. There is just a little bit. I never get creasing, but for some reason lately I have been getting creasing just a little bit. So you want to take your sponge and make sure there's no creasing under your eye before you set with powder, because if not, you're going to be setting the creases. So I'm taking the powder, I'm getting that point right in there underneath my eye, and then I'm just going to trace up my eyelid where I put the concealer, and I'm going to put this everywhere that I highlighted and concealed. And what I'm doing is pressing it into my skin. I don't really bake. If you want to melt the powder into your skin, I suggest using a beauty sponge. And as you can see, look at that. It just brightened. Look at the difference. It just brightened. This looks flawless. This does not. Back in with the fat end one more time, just to make sure everything's nice and blended in. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face, which I use a brush for, and I'm going to set my cream contour, which I use a brush for, and then I'll be back with a bit of like cream blush or highlighter, things that you can do with a beauty blender, and we'll be all done and we'll be able to move on into the best beauty blender. Next, I'm going to go back in with that banana powder that I have on my sponge right here, and once again, I'm going to clean up under my contour so it looks nice and sharp. Take the fat end and press it in even more, and that will really just give you that sharp contour line that I really like. Not everybody really likes that, but I do. You can also use your beauty blender for cream products. So I'm going to take this NYX, what is this called? This NYX Bright Idea Illuminating Stick. Gonna use it for my sponge. Now that we're done with everything else on our face, you don't want to do this until you're not gonna be pouncing it all over your face anymore. Gonna put some on here and put it on my cheeks, and this is really going to disperse that blush all over your cheeks. I'm really, look at that, that looks so pretty. I'm really into blush. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like all these companies are coming out with blush kits, and like blush is just really in right now. I'm really into it. As you can see, I'm bringing it all the way up on my forehead, all the way back on my contour. I just love it. I think it looks so pretty, especially for summertime. Just brings like so much color to your face, and I love it, especially with these pinks and these oranges. Oh, it's so cute. So I'm basically contouring with this blush, and I'm putting it on the tip of my nose just to give my nose a bit of like pinkness to it, and I love that. I'm still not done with the blush though. I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Foil Highlighter Duo in Sangria Sunset and Mimosa Sunrise. I'm gonna take Mimosa Sunrise, which is orange. I know that the other blush that we use is pink, but I'm still gonna, oh wow, see how much that picks up? Oh yes. Doing this with a sponge is just really going to like press it into your skin, make it less harsh. Oh my god, I love that. Whoa. So I guess I'm kind of using this as a highlighter. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, a highlighter, an orange highlighter. I think that's what I'm doing right now. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I'm using this sponge to highlight with an orange highlighter, and I haven't used this as a highlighter yet, this orange shade, and it's absolute, oh my god, I love this. I think that's all the highlighter I'm gonna add. Wow, I like this. I'm gonna put some on the tip of my nose. Oh my god, I'm looking orangey AF. For the rest of my face, I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter to do my nose and my cupid's bow, my chin and all that. I'm gonna use a brush for that, and I'll be right back. I added a little bit more highlighter on top of that Mimosa Sunrise, the Amrezy highlighter, with a brush, and I'm loving the way this looks right now. I feel like it looks natural. My face looks really like glowy. Oh my god, I love this. This beauty blender is giving me so much life. So for the final step, I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with the Maybelline Master Fix makeup setting spray, which is almost gone. While your face is still dewy, you could go back in with some more highlighter, or you can use the sponge. Like I said, it's a soaker upper. It soaks up any excess product. So if your highlighter is a bit too beaming and you want to take it down a notch, or you just want to press it into your skin so it looks a bit more natural, you can go over it to really press that highlighter into your skin. Okay guys, that is it. That is all the uses that you can get out of a beauty blender that I do. And as you can see, I got about like 10, maybe even more uses out of this while doing my makeup. You can use it to do your entire face, and all you need is one. When you really think about it like that, $20 is not that bad of an investment to get majority of your makeup look done with one product. I used a few brushes, like 5 maybe, and the rest of my face I used with a sponge. Like I said, I haven't used a beauty blender in a while, the actual beauty blender. I've been using the Dupes, and that really just gave me life. I really think that is worth it. These other dupes are very close in comparison, but I do think that as far as like really pressing the product into your skin and just making everything so easy and flawless, there really is nothing that really quite does it like a beauty blender, and I needed to use this today to remind me. So let's go ahead and get into some dupes. The first dupe I want to mention, these are all dry, so these get bigger and softer when they're wet. I'm not going to wet them all, of course. The first dupe is probably the oldest dupe. I think they were like the first people to actually come out with something besides the beauty blender, and it's the Real Techniques beauty sponges. You can find them at Walmart, you can find them at Ulta, Target, wherever. You can find them anywhere basically, especially now, Walgreens probably, like anywhere. They do have the normal Real Techniques beauty sponge. I love it. It's very close to my heart because this is my first beauty sponge I ever tried. And as far as the softness and everything, to me, they really compare to the Beauty Blender. It is shaped differently, as you can see. So instead of like a round booty, it has like a slant on it, and then the other end is a point. So you use, actually like this, you use the flat end to press the product into your skin, which works really, really well. And you can actually use this part for under your eye too, the slanted part. So I really like this. It's really, really, really good. And this bigger one is actually the Body Blender. I love this. I love this. It gets enormous when it gets wet. As you can see, like the size difference. It's a really big size difference. This one, if you want to really get that foundation in 5 seconds, this is awesome. And this is really for people that put it all on their neck. And if you have like self tanner, you can use this for, I don't use self tanner, but anybody that does. If you just want to use it to do your makeup and you want to cover more space with less time, get this. This is at Ulta. I love this too. The next one, I'm not going in any type of order, just so you know. I thought I was, but I'm not, because I think this is my favorite dupe, is the L'Oreal Infallible Beauty Sponge. It's shaped quite a bit differently. As you can see, it's more of like an hourglass shape, but it does have the pointy end and it has the booty end. So you use that booty end for your foundation and to really like press things into your skin, making sure everything's blended. Use that pointy end for your eyes and everything. I think this might be my favorite dupe because of the softness. This gets so soft and it just makes things really simple. The softer, the better. If you don't know, the softer, the better. Softness of this and the ease of which it blends everything out, I think this is why it's my favorite. I think that's why it's my favorite. I don't know, but this thing is amazing. It's so good, and you can find it at Walmart. Anywhere that sells L'Oreal, you can find this, and it's amazing. L'Oreal has other sponges. I haven't tried those, but this one is a freaking Next winner. Is Maybelline. Maybelline also has a beauty sponge, and while this one is shaped quite weirdly, like it's very oddly shaped. It has the booty end, and their pointed end is really flat. It has a really sharp point, which I really don't like this sharp point. I do, but I don't. It really can press down on your eye right here because it fits perfectly right there. But it's just this little point sometimes gets on my nerves. It's too pointy. Other than that, I really like it. It gets soft, it gets big. It's really, really nice. The price is right. I love it. I think it's worth it because it's less than $10. Next is the Fenty Beauty Sponge. Okay, this one's $16, which ain't bad. It's better than $20. Only $4 difference, but it's better, right? I mean, hey, it ain't $20. It's high end. I think $16 is not that bad. And this thing's amazing. It's shaped differently. It has that really flat edge. It has the booty edge, then like a flat surface, and then like another flat surface. So there's no point. So it's not as easy to really get in those corners, but it really is. It fits underneath your eye because it's flat. And then like when you're blending out your foundation, you can use the flat edge or you can use the booty edge. This one I don't really use the booty edge. I'm always using the flat side right here for pressing stuff in, or I'm using this flat one right here. So this one is oddly shaped, but it works really, really well, and it's really, really soft. It doesn't tear. It's worth $16 in my opinion. The last two that I want to mention are actually wet because I just washed them. I didn't want to show you guys no dirty stuff. The first one is the Ulta Beauty Sponge, and you will be able to see how soft this one is on camera. It's very, very soft, and it looks like the Beauty Blender exactly. It has, you know, the teardrop shape. It's actually bigger. It has the teardrop shape, the fat booty part. This one gets really, really large, which I don't think is a good thing. I think smaller is kind of better. And I will say this one's not as soft as a Beauty Blender, like really nowhere near. I would say out of all of the dupes, this is my least favorite dupe. And last but not least, I forgot about this one. This is my favorite dupe. I can't believe I forgot about it. I'm so glad I went in my bathroom and was like, oh, hold up, I got some more. It does not look like the Beauty Blender whatsoever, but it's great. It's only $7. It's the Morphe Highlight and Contour Beauty Sponge. This one is flat, no booty end, so it's flat, flat edges on the side and then the pointy end. So this is perfect for getting underneath your eye, which you can also use this part. Perfect for pressing stuff in because it's nice and flat. It's just amazing. I think this one is my favorite because, like the L'Oreal, is extremely soft. It's so soft and it just makes everything so easy. I love this one so much. If you're gonna try out any of the dupes, please try these two. These are worth your money. They're really durable, they're really soft, they're really bouncy, and they're amazing. They're so good. I love these two so much. Yeah, Morphe, y'all did that. It's so good. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It might be a little long, I'm sorry about that, but I just had so much information to share with you guys, and I really love these dupes. I really love beauty sponges. I think that they are a necessity in everyone's makeup routine. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We're almost to 10K. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video. Bye.